Hello viewers, today I thought I would do a different kind of video where instead of just sort of doing like a scripted orange show, I would sort of just riff off of some theme that I bring up, whether or not I get it from sort of my imagination or a source, which is why I'm going to call the show Indigo Improv, because it's improvised rambling in front of an indigo backdrop. Today I'm going to use a source because a friend of mine, Chris Ware, I've talked about him before, has a project called Project 14, and every week they have a theme so that the vloggers have something to talk about. So I'm just going to steal that theme. I think the last week's theme was goals, which is something I try not to think about too much because I feel like if I set too many goals, I won't fulfill them. It's sort of like if I have like an egg on my head, so like the goal is like an egg that is like balancing up there, and if I'm not thinking about it, it's fine, but if I start thinking about like, oh crap, there's an egg on my head, and then I'll like start moving around and it'll fall and splat and everyone will get with salmonella poisoning. Obviously the main goal I would have would be to publish a book, and I mean not just any book. I don't want to write some sort of like in-depth thesis about the various textures of cat food, but I mean I guess I would take that. Some agent was like, you know so much about cat food. The last three guys I had, they were just obsessed with flavor. Obviously I would want to publish fiction, but before I do that I think I would have to make some changes to my writing style because I tend to make my stories too complicated. Like I'll start off the story simple, where it's like about some girl and her family, they're farmers and then they try to raise crops, but then it's not that simple because there's an alien race that comes down every night and they're like half salamander, half robot, and they come and they like steal all the water from the ravine. There's also like an evil overlord who's trying to take over the inside of the earth and work his way out. Cloud people from the alien race of like Cloud World, and they're like all fluffy and they try to like vaporize people with their like mind rays. Fairy dust that changes people into vegetables, like, take people underneath the ground through the volcanoes. All the food has gone dry because of the alien salamander people are stealing all the waters. This girl's got to figure out how to fight all three of these while also she has like an addiction to macaroni and cheese. I'm gonna stop myself right there. I think you get the picture. The thing about goals though is I think everybody needs to set them, but they have to be realistic. You know, you can't just say, oh, I want to be president, I want to be the CEO of a harmonica company. It's got to be something that you know you can do. Not only that you know you can do it, but that you will do it. You know, just simple stuff like get eggs, get milk, conquer the world, do the dishes. Stuff that anybody can accomplish. I mean, you might want to figure out how to invent an evil, omnipotent death ray at the end, but we're going to take this one step at a time. I mean, just do it. Set goals for yourself, people. If you want to be the first one to eat 50 paper clips in 5 minutes, then set the goal to change everything about yourself, weirdo. I'm sorry, that was a cheap shot. I'll tell you what else is a cheap shot. Water. Like a Dixie cup. I think I set a lot more goals for myself when I was a kid, like in grade school or middle school. I wanted to be a published writer, but that wasn't enough for me. I wanted to be like a prodigy, like the first 12-year-old to publish a fantasy novel, and I would be like, oh wow, this kid's so good, oh my gosh, but I didn't realize that children are idiots and they can barely put a sentence together. Besides, nobody wants to read a book called The Tale of the Blue Dragon, about some grown man and a little boy who go off into the woods together. And the fact that I'm just now realizing how creepy that is, like 15 years later, should tell you how bad I was at setting goals back then. Besides, I made daily goals for myself every day on like a little list, and one of them was take a shower. And I remember a friend of mine saw the list in geography class and goes, you have to remind yourself to take a shower? And I was like, no. The smell will remind me eventually. So that about does it for my... Whoa, some things never change. That about does it for my video. If you have any goals of your own, let me know in the comments. And my goal for now is to get to the end of this video without stuttering on a single syllable. Hey, I did it.